Electrical engineer or chemical engineer, Mr. Ayata, I don't want you to mix. We call it now Spencer and electrical circuit. I want you to get the marijuana plant and go and I go find some new thing, which is the ancient thing. She said, all right, Baba, University of West Indies don't do the chemical, so I'm going over to UTEC. So that's the situation they do now. Me say, my daughter, my Ayata, go to the Kafu Plateau, them call it Giza Plateau, pull it up. You rap and you rap about a lot of things. And that's what I want you rap about and straighten out an area. Cause straight, you see that building there? The center merge where them call pyramid, almost 70 floor high. You see on the 50th floor, you Baba, where them call your daddy. And in right there, me born Papa. Because that's the paper, see the Papa's here room. Etching is it. Them feel like them do and I bad. But when I left the cartoon life in Abuja City and you playing that rude boy member, yes, that was the rude boy that come to them senses. When I go home to yard, when I go little yard, cause big yard I motherland, and I go run into Sizzler, Lazarus then call Luciana, Mikey General, Shadowman and Ragnar Paiser, Exterminator Son, with Fatis. When I say, yo, Rokozolo, Gabozabi, Sizzler, Kalanchi, Skilachi, Selassie, you know, you start soon you do name this gangster. I wrote this thing from Brigadier Jerry. I remember call the General Brigade. She have no chance I not just call the world without this general.
Jesse Gender. 718-554-8598. Call your live, talk to me. Yes, I am.
Well, I love the program, you know.
Give thanks, my brother.
That's why I know why you love Jesse Gender. Long time I am vibe.
Yeah, man,
big up my
Jesse Gender.
big up Mikey Donna, concentrate this, you know. Listen, I know to the item say I recognize that is Imperial Majesty Emperor / Almighty. That one I hear the man himself over the radio.
All right,
so I have rest of people want to hear that, you know.
718-554-8598. I want to get some calls in. I know that we were talking to Jesse for quite some time. I want to get some calls in. 718-554-8598. Mikey, it's about half an hour left in the program. Big up to the elder in the building as well. Elder, you wanted to slide in something. You haven't said something in a while.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what are vibes? Mikey, down, your time.
Yes, we could take it. As Casa said, you know, who I hear that, and Jesse Gender, take it from there and say, in 1930, His Imperial Majesty was crowned Kings of Kings and Lord of Lords, conquering the tribe of Judah. In that coronation, one of the symbols of the 7 gifts endured at the coronation was the golden orb, the globe, you know what I mean? So he has the whole world in his hand, and that is the work that His Majesty come to do in this time, that represent as Earth's rightful ruler, you know? So, the caller, Coffee was saying before, how, you know, I just want to let them know in 90 years, which is from 1930 till now is only 90 years. And the Rastafarian movement started in this modern time, right? But from ancient time, but in this modern time, 90 years ago. Consider it. Let's be practical. After imperialism, colonialism, you know, slavery, 400 years of slavery. In 90 years, I would say the movement, and Jabi and everyone can come in. What we have done in 90 years to set back things straight, and redeeming our race, You know what I mean? And putting back things in the right place. It's monumental. The glass is more half full than half empty. So, without a doubt, is His Majesty, King of Kings, Lord and Lords, conquering land of the tribe of Judah, His first rightful ruler. And Jah come to break oppression, to set the captives free, drive away transgression, and rule with equality. So all of that is established in the last 90 years. The movement, the people rise up, and it's now Black Man Redemption, and we're on the road for that manifestation.
There's a historian known as J.A. Rogers, and J.A. Rogers have a couple of books known as World Great Men of Color. And this World Great Men of Color identify different black individuals who have excelled in history. Among them, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey was recognized as a great leader for his people. You have other Africans coming back from ancient time that was recognized. However, when he look at His Majesty, him say, behold the perfect and the upright in spirit. One can go by the book itself, J.A. Rogers' World Great Men of Color. And it's a book that everyone should have in their library because it reflects, and especially this being Black History Month, it reflects on some of the accomplishment that the Africans have done, some of the accomplishment that the Ethiopian has done, the Cushite have done, the black, because it's one and the same. You know what I mean? Because even though we may then don't want to use the term Ethiopia, when you look at the ancient map, even the ocean that is today called the Atlantic Ocean is named the Ethiopian Ocean. They didn't call it the Cushite Ocean, the Nubian Ocean, etc. It was all called the Ethiopian Ocean as well. So not only was the landmass. And we talk about Ethiopia, we are talking about the Cape of Good Hope, which is in southern Africa, all the way up to Cairo, which is the northern portion of the continent itself. So it wasn't then something that was limited. And as Ras Mikey up to point out, that particular coronation of 1930 is extremely monumental to African peoples. Remember, the question that the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey asked, black man, where is your God? Black man, where is your king? Now, what more profound than to see a coronation in that time where somebody would be crowned as king? So the question was answered in the essence of that particular coronation in 1930, where, you know, the scepter, the orb, and these things. And when one go back, even though it was a Christian ceremony, because Ethiopia have one of the oldest Christian, it was also a secular reality, because His Majesty tradition did not stop with Moses, it did not stop with Solomon, and it did not stop with the modern revelation. It go beyond that, as he aptly states. Now, one of the key components is the anointment that took place, and to accentuate what the caller wants us to say. During the coronation, there was three distinct anointments. The first anointment recognizes Majesty of the leader of the human family, in particular the African peoples of the world. The second anointment is the most powerful mind in the universe. Look it up yourself. And the third was the highest spirit that the universe has ever known. That was an example of what took place at the coronation in 1930. So anyone go pay attention and look at the ceremony of the coronation. These three essence was put forth. And when you couple that with what J.A. Rogers said, who incidentally witnessed the coronation, because he made those statements because he was there and saw the magnificent of Emperor Haile Selassie, and as Congo Jesse Gender states, he never have a single word of condemnation for the Honorable Marcus Mosiah through it all. Never one negative word. Continue to write the brethren, sending on positivity, continue to provide financial resources to the organization, recognizing that it is a vehicle for the black peoples in this dispensation. That was the African Communities League and the UNIA. It was indeed because it draw awakening of our consciousness to make we realize, yeah, as black man, you are indeed from the highest plateau of humanity.
Elder, would you like to jump in? Care to jump in?
As I said earlier, I don't know of the contributions, financial contributions that the alleged that Emperor contribute to the UNIA movement. I am not here to, I don't know about it. I'm going to do my research and before I get into
that conversation.
Good. So, and as I said, when I came here tonight, I thought we were going to be meeting as a group of, as a family. And we're going to be discussing the virtues of the contributions of these two men and where do we go from here. But I find oftentimes when I go to gatherings and we get ready to discuss these type of issues, we always get sidetracked and we leave the gathering, we leave the meeting more confused than we went there. And we got nothing done. A couple of years ago, I remember, I went to a gathering at the African National African Theatre in Harlem on 25th Street and 5th Avenue. And the Morgan Heritage father was there. Denroy Morgan. He was there representing the Rastafari movement. The Nation of Islam was there. The Christian Church was there. All of them were there. And we got into that gathering to sit down and discuss the way forward, our situation as a people. And it got into a religious thing, and the whole thing just, we wind up leaving there with nothing. And I'm getting kind of tired of us as a people getting bogged down in things that is not advancing our race, our people, right? I personally believe that the way forward was where Mr. Garvey was leading us. And most folks of the world who are conscious and know about the teaching of Garvey, they alluded to that. We have many leaders, world leaders, that talked about what they have, how Mr. Garvey inspired them and so on and so forth. All right? Now, we know how these leaders get destroyed. The UNIA movement was destroyed. We know the FBI and others. There were so many agents going after the UNIA and Marcus Garvey to destroy it, right? Because it was a powerful force that not only the folks in America wanted to destroy, but also the European. That is why Mr. Garvey and the UNIA was not welcome in Liberia, even though the UNIA provided over $2 million loan to, as Jabi mentioned, King, who was the president of that puppet state at the time, because Liberia was a colony of the United States.
Correct.
And the Firestone Rubber Company, Harvey Firestone, and the president and big boys in this country, they were in bed together. I mean, money, he's a multi-millionaire, and his money helped to, was dropped in his partisan packs and so forth. So, King and his bunch of puppets, they sold Garvey out. This thing about some woman in some hotel with King or whatever, I don't know about that. But as far as the writings of Mr. Garvey in his own word, in his own writing, told us exactly how that went down. These scoundrels in Liberia, and to this day, they're still scoundrels. The Americo-Liberians, which are most of them the children, the bastard children of the slave master here, who wanted to solve the racial problem in America by going to Africa and take that piece of land, and they knew exactly what they were doing. Because we here talking stuff while white people and the enemies are planning. They knew exactly that the land in Liberia was very conducive for growing rubber plants. And the United States didn't have any any horse in the rubber industry. And Harvey Firestone was their horse, and they applied pressure to those punks in Liberia, and they was able to, they disregarded Marcus Garvey and UNI's money. To this day, the UNI never got the money back. And the equipment that they send down there to industrialize, that was where Mr. Garvey was going to move to show the world that Africans can do what other men have done. That was the starting point. So when we agree Mr. Garvey didn't have a land, that's why he was fighting for us to reclaim Africa. That's what he was doing. Selassie had a land, but he couldn't control it, he couldn't take care of it. Because he had lost the land, by the way. And with help from he was trying to get help from the same Europeans. And he ran to the Europeans to help. And one thing is white folks, they don't turn against other white folks for people that's not white.
All right, but Elder, point of information.
Good.
You can't say lost the land when on May 5th, 1941, Victory Day, His Majesty became victorious and took back the Ethiopia and saved the whole continent, or we as a, you know what I mean? Today,
but the whole continent,
you're leaving out that. You can't.
No, you said save the whole continent. What was Africa?
And then also in 1936. No.
But what started the war between Italy and Ethiopia? Because of Italy, Somaliland, the state next door to Ethiopia was colonized by the Italians.
No, hold on a second.
It was Italian.
Hold on a
That's
second.
not
May I interject if you wish?
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. What happened was that the previous emperor, Emperor Menelik was not then the scheduled ruler for Ethiopia. What Emperor Menelik did, he sold the land to the Italians to get arms so that he could use those arms to defeat the other Ethiopians so that he could become emperor of Ethiopia. Now, that came full circle. To this very day, you find that the Somalian and the Eritrean is up in arms. Because after the Battle of Adwa, which incidentally is March 1st, is an anniversary of the Battle of Adwa. After the Battle of Adwa became the victory of Adwa, you know what Emperor Menelik did? Emperor Menelik returned all of the Italian that was captured back to the Italian forces. And every Eritrean or Somalian that was caught, he cut off one hand and 1 foot. 1 hand and 1 foot was severed. So that built up an hatred for the mainland Ethiopian. That is the Imperial Majesty now, as the new regime, had to deal with that reality because of what took place. That did not stop the essence of African liberation, because His Imperial Majesty was a key player and contributor towards the entire liberation struggle. As a matter of fact, Nelson Mandela, the first gun Nelson Mandela received was by His Imperial Majesty, who not only gave him a arm, but trained his people of how to use the arms. And that was replicated in Ghana with Kwame Nkrumah and the others. So these are historical facts, and we need to go dig up those history so we can share them in this Black History.
I don't know where you get these facts from, my brethren.
Wow.
But I'm telling you.
You're learning then. It's fact. You can learn too. We have to learn. It's a fact.
Well, we are
Elder. His Imperial Majesty is also dubbed the father of African unity by all the heads of state. And in 1963,
why was that? Because he had to
the African Union.
The African Union.
Right.
But
so
that's it.
I mean, that's it. That's
What
the federal
did
government
they use
today.
the African Union to do?
So you're not up to date on what is happening today right now.
What did they use the African Union to do? Even the African Union today, what is it doing? What is it?
What is it doing right now
Yes.
today is that they established the FTA.
You think if
Which
Italy
is, you know about the AFC?
Italy invade Ethiopia today, the African Union is gonna go to the rescue? It's a puppet of the different colonial powers. They are segment of the AU that is in the camp of the British. Some is in the hands of the French. Some is in the hands of the American. They are all scattered and have different mixed loyalties.
No, you're not up to date with.
I am not up to date.
Well, you see, reality. We have to face reality.
I am not up to date
with
with
the
reality.
independent states.
When we look at Africa prior
Don't
to
call these
the
states
freedom,
independent. I don't know where you get this foolishness from.
Listen,
Jamaica independence? Is Jamaica independent?
I don't think we
Is
understand
the Caribbean islands
fully
independent?
the essence of slavery. That's why we run up a mouth like we do, because we don't realize what it was to be in shackles and chains, not just in your brain, but shackled in your brain as well as physically shackled in your hand, where your wife would be. Somebody just hold your wife and rape her. The mother is pregnant and you just cut the stomach open and what's the thing? In places like the Congos, where the Belgian, they just, they have buck breaking.
My brother,
where they
I
just check
understand
people.
that.
So we evolved, and it's a process. The process is not the very same that it was then. And because of the contribution of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, we have reached to where we reach. Because of the contribution of the Emperor Haile Selassie, we have reached to where we reach. Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, they all made their contribution to get us where we are. Now it is our turn. How can I and I, how can we, how can you, Elder, make your contribution
So
to the
why
American
aren't we here for the whole night to be here? Why we didn't get to this point now, we just get ready to go through the door, and this is when we bring up this point. We spend all this time exerting all this stuff on something that really doesn't matter right now.
Everything matters.
This, what we're dealing with now,
All
should have been
matters.
from the beginning.
No.
We get ready to go through the door.
Well, you see, that is why you build. You build things gradually. You say nothing
My
was
brother,
accomplished.
we've been building for
We
centuries.
can't stop building. So you're going to start now?
Can I take a one call?
Yes, my brother.
Call you live.
Yeah, just to say, you played a song by Jesse Gender, but the moral part of the song, you did not get to it. And you may not have enough time to play the song again, but if you had enough time, because that song was banned in Jamaica. I don't know if you're aware of it.
Thank you.
Oh, you know about that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but can you just say the moral part of it?
Yeah, the moral part of the song referred to how certain people in the society in Jamaica, they turn your mother and your father into one.
Yes.
One become a maid and the other is a yard boy.
One become a prostitute too. She didn't bring that in. But these are things that these guys don't want to touch in Jamaica. I am disappointed, honestly, with the performance or lack of performance of the Rastafari movement in Jamaica. I believe that we have to stop this thing of talking about what was done. We know a lot of things was done. But here we in a time where Rastas controlling some money now. And some other things. And you want to tell me the Rasta movement in Jamaica, where is it? What is the Rasta movement in Jamaica? Tell me. A man go make a money and he go home and I must build a big house up in the hills or whatever, and all he wants is and his ganja and his spliff and tip. But here is it, when we had our children, Rastman have his children, and think that ganja was a thing, you're going to smoke for the rest of your days and that's the end of that. Not knowing that there is so much to ganja and what is going to be coming out of ganja. And you never prepare your children for none of that. Now, you're fighting now to get a piece of the ganja action when it's too late. Because the ganja business done gone to foreign interests and so forth. And the Rastaman still get they're trying now to decriminalize it or whatever it is. And that's all they're going to get out of it.
If I can squeeze in one more. Call you live. Greetings.
So long, Rastafari.
Give chance.
At 21 time, me, there are this number to get you now. So, I get time.
Give chance, my brother.
Yes,
Elder
I.
was there. Elder was there.
Yes, my virgin.
You need to call I.
Great.
Number jump, the phone mash up, you just side and go do more.
Get now from a check. Yes, brethren, go ahead.
Yes. You know,
Lion.
Daddy,
Love Lion. How you doing?
I use up the time, you know, because your time running out, so use it up good.
You see, the right instance, the other was a Marcus Garvey. You see, it was the words like Marcus Garvey. And one prototype of the Imperial Majesty. It's simple, that is your dogma. Most profound thing, and you are the type of clarity of it. That's the way
You think that sound clean?
You're kind of breaking up though, brethren. I'm not getting you too well.
Yeah, you hear me now?
All right, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The Honorable Marcus Garvey said, a man in his full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature and creation.
Good.
And greater possessing this heights of knowledge, you can master your environment, captain your own ship, direct your own destiny, and accomplish your own end. If I never decide that I wouldn't get the fullness of time and take your see the true worth of his imperial majesty. So, the word comparison, me don't burn it in a chain. Me glad was just gender come clarify the thing and show the identity. We don't need no comparison. No comparison with his imperial majesty and Honorable Marcus Garvey. Right? These two great works supposed to be in one fullness to move as a people to that in that right order. The Ivan order who is supposed to be and live as a people. You know time is short and I have a lot more things to utter. But this is the Congo Jesse gender, and I leave the utter. I'm need him to call my forward because I feel like the girls more and come to the technical school that is going to get more full up.
Alright.
Because you know they are brilliant, you go to Denver High School. I'm go to Virtex. And so I know the hygiene. So I leave up my and to give her a forward because I did it.
Yes, Lion.
Alright. You know, Jay?
So we have 5 minutes, and I want you guys to share it around the room equally.
Alright. You know, I went to Ghana, right? And while I was there, I visited Dr. Du Bois' library that they have there for him. And would you believe that two brothers who should know better too started an argument in the place about Du Bois was this and Du Bois that and so forth. And I had to tell us, brethren, this is not the place for that. I said, this is a place to pay homage to this man. I said, all of our people have made contribution to our advancement. I like to think of the achievements of our people is on a big mural. And everybody get a spot on that mural. All of us will occupy a place of prominence. Some of us have a little spot on the mural. But some have a nice, like Garvey and Silas and people will have a bigger spot. So this is how I look at it. So when I came here, I didn't come here to compare or have no clash. But this one, that one. I come for some reason, which way forward. That is what I come here for. I can't take the, you know.
Brother Mikey.
Yes. In wrapping up, I just want to make it clear that His Majesty stands for international morality and world citizenship. And to make it clear that what is happening now is establishing a righteous government for the whole world. And the earth's rightful ruler has declared, he wrote the constitutions, one for Ethiopia, one for the OAU, which is the AU, and one for Ethiopian World Federation. Those three constitutions has in it the authority given from him that's going to run that righteous government in the future. So it's set. So, you know, that is what the whole end result of the understanding. Just give thanks to the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who had power, who gathered 11 million people. No man in the world, no, you know, black or white, gather so much people. So His Majesty now have the authority, not just power, but the power and the authority to carry out in the field.
Yeah, well, what I say is that the same knife will stick sheep, stick goat, and the same oppression and indignation that the Universal Negro Improvement Association faced, Rastafari face it. Because I know One's no stop chant on Rastafari and give Rastafari the blame. I hear it here tonight over and over again. No one, speaking of credits, we don't hear no credits. Rasta never do nothing good yet. If you listen to some of us speak, not one good thing come out of us. But as Bob Marley said, all and all this year go on is to fight against the Rasta man. They build their world in so confusion to force us to the devil's delusion. But the stone that the builder refuse will be the head cornerstone. And no matter what game they play, they have something. We have something them can't take away. And that is the fire. Love a burn it, love again.
Well, all I can say is that the Rasta man has been smitten by the same Babylonian virus that the rest of us been smitten by. And that's my take on that.
Tune in next week as we continue Black History Month. Reggae Month here at Soundchat Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in.